Now on BBC One, 10th birthday celebrations for the EastEnders, along with Alan Titchmarsh at Pebble Mill.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alan Titchmarsh.
Thank you. It's lovely to be with you. Today we celebrate the 10th birthday of a programme that tonight clocks up a total of 1,085 episodes. It all began on the 19th of February 1985, like this.
Oh, stinks in here, doesn't it? Ain't working.
Rich?
Well, he ain't going to answer now if he didn't answer before, is he? Oh, careful, Arthur.
Well, everyone else can see what's going on.
What's going on?
Well, I thought it'd been obvious even to you, Jeff and our Michelle.
Yeah, well, what about him?
Well, it's obvious, isn't it? He's working himself up to asking her
Ask him what?
to marry him. Jeff wants to marry Michelle. Ooh.
10 years crammed into just 2 minutes, but what do the folk of Albert Square really like? Time to find out as we welcome EastEnders' first matriarch, Lou Beale, and one of the newest members to join the cast, young Natalie. Please welcome Anna Wing and Lucy Speed. Great to see you. Have a here, darling. Lucy. Sit down. What a time. What a time. What do you think? 10 years. You look at all those little scenes. You think, oh, yes, I remember that. I remember that. What do you think, Anna? What's kept us gripped for 10 years?
Well, first of all, we have to pay tribute to Julia Smith, who was a fearsome producer. She was fabulous.
She was the fearsome producer while you
Yes.
were being the fearsome matriarch.
Yes, but she was the most wonderful producer. We had wonderful scripts. It was pacey. It was real. It was honest. We had dirt on the street. We had dirty faces. It was the thing that made it work was that it was totally honest about life. We had real people, real situations about the East End in a funny way which we'd never had before. And that's what made it work.
Do you remember that first episode yourself, Lucy? Were you
No, I
tuned
don't
in?
remember the first episode. Watching it just now, I didn't realise that Ali and Sue were in it from the very beginning.
Yeah.
I just remembered, but I do remember a lot of it from the beginning.
But you came in after 9 years. Now, when they're all so established, they've all been at it 9 years. You were in it for, I think, just about 4, weren't
that's
you?
right.
Anna? Right
That's
from
right.
the beginning. But when you come in 9 years on, it must be terribly intimidating.
Well, I don't think I really thought about my first day very much. I was waiting and waiting for it because it was like, this is your first day. No, it isn't, next week. And then I had the scripts, and I hadn't worked out the scripts properly. I just wanted to get in there and get the first day over with. So I got in there, and it was like I was looking at it like any other job, and I hadn't learnt my scripts, and I was the first scene of the day, and they went, well, you've got this big scene, and so that took my mind off it because I was sitting in makeup and I was trying to learn this script. But it was so confusing to me because I just wanted to get the day over with. So.
You've got this amazing storyline at the moment. I mean, for those of you who don't watch EastEnders, well, hard luck. But here we are. This Ricky, and I can never work out what they see in him. Can I work out what they see in Ricky? No. But there's 2 dishy girls fighting over Ricky. Bianca, who's got long auburn hair, and yourself. And you've just worked a flanker, and you've just lost your,
Yeah.
haven't you? Thank you. Sorry.
Same
Do you, when you're doing that, though, I mean, because EastEnders is played, as it were, for real, they say it's not a soap, it's a drama series, do you feel like, kind of, without sounding pompous, a responsibility to teenagers when you're doing that kind of role?
I do. I think more so in the way that just so that other teenagers can watch it and relate to it. Not in a way saying, oh, you know, being very, this is your first time and all this stuff, in a way that they can say, oh, yeah, I mean, that was what it was like for me, being very close to the point. And some of it I wanted to change, but not a lot. Some of it I felt,
That's not quite right, it doesn't ring true.
no, but then it always does. From the point of rehearsals to the point of filming it, things do change, and you do take it with you, don't you, and make it very real. And if it's not quite right in the script, you end up making it
You get there eventually.
It's very much you and your ideas.
Lou Beale was very much you. Well, she wasn't actually completely different to you, but you made her very much your part. What do you think Lou, the old matriarch, would have made of what Natalie's getting
Oh,
up
I
to now?
think she would have sympathised with her. In fact, the character rather reminded me of myself when I was very young and inexperienced. This lady has a wonderful old-fashioned quality. I think she's terribly good. And she was very appealing because she... And it was good because it brought back the East End to me as it was. She didn't know the ropes, and it was good to have somebody innocent because we have an awful lot of people there now who seem to know everything.
Frightening.
Yes. I mean, it does reflect the times we live in. But this young girl suddenly appearing who'd made up fibs. I told fibs when I was young about things, you know. And I think she gives a terrific performance.
But you yourself, you were only in it for 4 years. It seems
Yes.
a lot of people still think Richard Baker reads the news, they tell me. I always tend to think you must still be there. So I know you were deceased, so you're not going to
Yes.
come back.
No.
I went there last week and saw your gravestone, actually, so I know you. But what made you want to come out after 4 years?
Well, I suddenly got a bit worried about the content. I am a real EastEnder. I thought it wasn't jolly enough. I thought it had lost a little bit of the Cockney humour. I was a bit worried about it being so belligerent because I'm a bit of a pacifist.
Yeah.
And we did have 31 million viewers then. And I thought, gosh, it's being shown all over the world. And is this what people think of the English? You know, it gave me a bit of a turn.
But do you miss it now?
Oh, of course I miss it. I watch it like a thing demented. I won't let anybody else talk to me while it's on. And I follow everybody's career, and one loves them. One loves them all. They do become part of
They
you.
become part of the family, don't they? But
Yes.
you've only been there for a year, Lucy, and you're going.
Yeah.
Why? What made you decide to up and out after a year?
There wasn't any real reason. It just felt right at the time.
People
I
come
think
and people go.
You can get bored with playing the same character. But, I mean, I wasn't bored with it. It was like Anna was saying about my character was different. There's a lot of teenage roles that are portrayed on the television knowing everything, and it was nice to be one to say we're not all like that,
Yeah.
you know. But
It was time.
I think I knew from the beginning that I only wanted to be in it like a year or so. And I enjoyed myself, and I just felt right to leave at that
Well, you
time.
made your mark while you were there. You both did. Great to talk to the old stager and the
the
young
baby.
vanguard and the baby. Anna Wing and Lucy Speed. Well, the people in EastEnders do the most surprising things, you know. We've got music now from a man who joined the residents in Albert Square back in 1990. For 30 years, he's combined his acting career with recitals of classical jazz and blues favourites. Here's singing I'm Going to Sit Right Down and Write Myself a Letter. Please welcome Grandpa Jules, alias Tommy Idle.
Sit right down, write myself a letter. Make believe it came from you. I'm gonna write words so sweet. Knock me off my feet. Lots of kisses on the bottom. I'll be glad I got 'em. I'm gonna write and say I hope you're feeling better. Close with love the way you do. I'm gonna sit right down and write myself a letter. And to make believe it came from you. I'm gonna sit right down and write myself a letter. I'm gonna make believe it came from you. I'm gonna write words so sweet. Gonna knock me off my feet. Kisses on the bottom. I'll be glad I got 'em. I'm gonna write and say I hope you're feeling better. And close with love the way you do. I'm gonna sit right down and scribble myself a letter. We're gonna make believe it came. Make believe it came. I'm gonna make believe it came from you.
Tommy Idle. Now then, over the years, EastEnders has devoted whole episodes to just two characters. One such encounter back in 1987 has become a classic.
Oh, my Father in heaven. Oh, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it all forgive us. Oh, dear God, forgive us, and especially me. And of course, dear Ethel, who is a simple soul.
Did you get the fig rolls?
Oh,
What on earth's the matter?
oh, oh, oh. I thought you was,
Thought I was what?
I thought you was dead.
I'm not ready to go yet. I've only just drawn my pension.
I was frightened.
What of?
I thought you was gone. Oh,
Here, whatever's the matter, Dot?
oh.
Oh, I am sorry, Dot.
Hit me.
She did hit you. Please welcome Ethel and Dot, Gretchen Franklin and June Brown. June, normally it's about 15 characters per episode, the two of you there, holding that one together. Now, when you were told that you were going to be doing a two-hander, did you relish it or did it frighten
Oh,
you?
no, we loved it, Gretchen. Oh, she's telling stories. Take no notice of her. We loved the idea of it.
The idea, but not the reality.
What was the problem with the reality?
Her.
Oh,
Not me, I'm perfect.
But I thought it was just a front. I didn't know you really didn't like it.
No, it was her back, that's what it was.
no, we loved it. We really did love it. Go on, Gretchen, tell the truth. Because it was like a play within a play. You know, everybody knew our characters, and then suddenly they learnt a lot more about it. Oh, it was lovely to do half an hour on our own. Any actor wants to do that.
I don't know what you're talking about, I really don't.
I'm going to ask you about your little Willie, because...
That's an impertinence, if ever there was one. This is the BBC. We don't expect things like that.
But your little Willie figured large for a while.
Well,
It was a pug, it was a dog, I mean, didn't it?
yes, well, that's one way of putting it. It's dead now.
Poor old
Died.
It died in the square, didn't it?
No, well, yes, round the corner at the vets. He died there. But he really died, oddly enough, a fortnight later.
Oh, no.
I had to take him to a garden party, and he looked dreadful. All his fur was rough, and it was very, very hot. And he had a stroke, not there, fortunately, the next day, and he died. And a woman said to me, she said, I don't wonder he died. Once they found out that he wasn't wanted, he'd got nothing else to live for. Silly.
Well, it is rather sad, really. I mean, you could say that of characters in soaps, which has not proved true of you, June. You've gone on to do all sorts of kinds of things.
Well, yes,
But-
it worked.
You worked. But looking at Dot, I mean, if ever a person had bad luck, it was Dot. How on earth did she survive all that with Nick and heaven knows what?
Well, she had to be one of those characters who nothing went well for. I mean, nothing should have ever gone right for Dot. And it should have always been the same, I think. You know, Charlie should still have been there. He should still have been coming back and going away, and Nick coming back. She was just one of those people who never learned. You know, she was a devil for punishment,
You
wasn't
had
she?
me, dear.
I had you, my darling.
A
My
lot of people
friend.
say, you see, that there's not a lot of humour in EastEnders, unlike, say, Coronation Street, which is a laugh a minute.
That's different format, isn't it? Always has been.
But it strikes me that if there is a comedy element in EastEnders, it certainly came to the fore with you too. I mean, as we saw in that scene there. Did you
Oh,
feel...
it did, definitely.
And did you feel in a way that you, without, denigrating from the drama of the parts, that you two were a bit of a comedy double act?
Yes, well, we did it very seriously, though, because that's the thing about comedy, isn't it, Gretchen? You know.
Yes,
that
and we
you're-
didn't have an audience, you see. You had to play it rather straight.
Yeah.
That was where the humour, a lot of the humour came.
Because you'll notice with Gretchen, as soon as she gets an audience,
Oh, I go
she's
mad.
away.
I love you all. I do.
But it's something I've always wanted to ask you, Gretchen, because, in fact, you're playing an 80-year-old.
Oh,
Ethel
we're
is
on
80.
to that, are we? I
Well,
told you. At your age.
You're very good for your
It's just that, how
At your
difficult is it playing
Oh.
somebody who's 3 years younger than you are yourself? Because you're 83, really.
Yes, but I always tell people I'm only 82, you see.
And
So
you get away with it.
2 years and I get away with it.
The papers have been full recently, June, of the fact that Dot may well be coming back. Are you coming back to Albert Square?
I will say one thing. I've actually been asked if I'd play a part in a play at the National Theatre. Not a great starring role, my dear, just a part, and I have said yes. So I shall be there from March to September. So you can form your own conclusions.
If
I'm
you
not
were asked,
saying
would you say
any more.
yes? Would you come back if they asked you?
Well, how do you
Been
know?
asked.
Shh. Oh, she is awful. I'm saying
Always
nothing.
rely on Ethel, can't you? Ladies and gentlemen, Gretchen Franklin and June Brown. Well, that's nice to know. She's been asked, but will she come back? Anyway, EastEnders average is an amazing weekly audience. I mean, 20 million people with storylines that are carefully worked out and woven together to keep us in suspense 3 times a week. How do they do that? I found out when I dropped in on Albert Square. You know, it all looks so familiar. I get the feeling I've been here before. I have been here before. 9 years ago to celebrate the first anniversary of EastEnders. Now it's 10 years, you know. That's an awful lot of television.
Oh, careful, Arthur.
I think there's always been pressure on the programme because it started in such a vital and energetic way. I mean, you know, the door opened and Den and Arthur rushed in and Reg was there, dead, in his chair.
What makes EastEnders so special?
I think it's a real ensemble. I mean, you know, I hate using these sort of words, but I really don't think there is a star of the programme. I think it's about a family of people, and the family loses members sometimes, and other members come in, and it is a very energetic family.
And action!
She all right?
As far as I know. Mind you, having to sleep on a sofa at her age can't be doing her any good.
I bet Pauline feels awful.
Oh, it's all a bit of a mess.
Poor old Jill stuck in the middle, eh?
Big rush. Somebody died.
Okay, go again.
EastEnders is a fictional world, obviously, but it's a consistent world. And I think the people at home are very concerned with the lives of these people.
It's very true to life. I mean, they're always bringing up sort of various social issues. And I think every character has got an endearing quality to them.
You don't see the Jacksons trying to drive Blossom out, do you? I can just imagine what people are saying behind our backs.
Nellie'll be all right when she gets a place of her own.
Yes, but it could be the next century before the council do anything.
Now, a soap is as strong as its characters. How do you decide what kind of cross-section of people you're going to have?
I think that's a difficult one, because I would always maintain that there's no such thing as a stereotype. I mean, there is criticism sometimes that these programmes do descend to the level of stereotypes, but I think because each of them has an individual name and has a history, because we're very keen on writing a full biography of the characters that we bring in, so that the actor knows how to approach the part, and there is always something where we can say, well, actually this is justified because when they were 15 such and such happened, and you use those secrets, you use those facts out of the past to make the characters really live.
Over the months and years, the artists have been developing their own characters and are very jealous of their characters, and then will safeguard them and probably will help directors out a great deal, insofar as if we suggest things that are out of character, then we'll be brought up short, and there'll be a discussion as to how to proceed.
I did start initially to say, Geeta wouldn't say this, and then I realised that that's not a very good thing to do, because then I'm closing doors. If I allow Geeta to say certain things that I think she wouldn't, that opens up new pathways for her to become different.
We as directors know the person behind the character, but yes, they are a very good set of actors.
I feel I have the opportunity to act a lot because the character is nothing like me.
How close is Patsy to Bianca? How much have you used in there?
About that much away. No, I'm nothing like Bianca. Nothing at all. Apart from my accent's the same. That's about it.
Sometimes it's quite difficult to think as Debbie. You know, I mean, even when I first went shopping for clothes for her, you know, I personally, you know, Nicola wanted to go to sort of nice clothes shops, and it was like, no, you can't go there. She can't afford that.
People think that the East End is a real, like, dull, sort of boring place, don't they? But it's not. I live in the East End, so it's nothing like
Just to keep the accent going, presumably.
Yeah.
He's not the quickest brain in Albert Square, though, is he?
No.
Oh, do you enjoy that bit of it?
I don't mind it, yeah. He gets on with everyone, he's quite liked. He's just the boy next door, basically.
But there's always this danger with soap stars that the public often confuse the real person. They confuse
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Sid with Ricky.
I mean, obviously, I've been known for like 7 years on screen. No one knows exactly what I do or what I get up to. They just assume that I'm, you know.
Thick.
So why don't we go out for a drink tonight?
Yeah, where?
Oh, I don't know, I thought we'd go and have a few drinks down
Oh, down the Vic. Oh, I didn't know you was going to say that. It's always the Vic, isn't it? We ain't got to keep going there, you know. There are other pubs in London.
Yeah, all right.
Well, the problems really are, it's like shooting a full-length feature film every week. And you just have to go so fast when you're actually shooting. There's a reasonable amount of preparation time. But when you're shooting, the pace at which you have to shoot means that perhaps you have to compromise in some ways, or at least find ways of shooting the programme which doesn't shortchange the audience at home, and yet provides them with some reasonable visual material.
Shot 1, 2, 7, and action.
Popular drama is very much about the characters, and it's very dialogue intensive. So a lot of it is actually spent on the faces of the cast.
There are certain points where I think, particularly, for instance, when the programme went 3 times a week, that there was a genuine and understandable sense that the programme possibly needed to have a broader base of regular characters. If you're making an hour and a half's worth of television, and it is as multi-stranded as EastEnders is, because there are never fewer than 6 strands all going on at once. You don't want to exhaust your actors, and if you only have a regular cast of, say, 15 or 16, then it would entail virtually every one of them probably being in almost every scene, and you just couldn't do that. We work 6 days a week, they have to learn their lines, so it would be untenable.
Gooseberry.
Gooseberry.
Yeah, that's your line, is yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, at least it's better than...
Do you feel in competition with Coronation Street now?
Yeah, go on, I'll be honest. I think inevitably there is. I mean, I recognise that EastEnders has an identity all its own, and that Coronation Street has an identity all its own, and I don't believe that they're mutually exclusive. I think we have the same audience, by and large, as Coronation Street. And I wish them well, and I think it's a fantastic programme that's been going for so long. But, I'd be lying if I didn't say that, of course, we want to have that #1 slot.
Do you see this as a series that will be celebrating its 50th anniversary?
Very definitely. I don't think anybody quite envisaged the success that it would be when the programme started out 10 years ago. I mean, in terms of the set only having the lot only having 3 sides to it and being built of paper and glue as opposed to bricks and mortar. But yes, absolutely no reason why it shouldn't carry on, well into the 21st century.
Walford Furnishing Wares. There's nothing I fancy in there at all. I'm not an East Londoner, I don't. Oi, Cavic! How much to Birmingham?
Don't know, about a 1, I think I'll do it for you.
What's a 1? And I don't understand.
100 quid. 100 quid to Birmingham. Whereabouts in Birmingham?
Go to Pebble Mill.
Pebble Mill, what?
And don't spare the horsepower.
Cheers.
Magic! Albert Square, I tell you, it's the coldest place on earth, Now, EastEnders started in 1985, but it was in 1983 that the idea was conceived, rather like giving birth to an elephant. Exactly how did it happen? Well, there are 2 people who know. The programme's co-creator, Julia Smith, and a man who's collated all you need to know about the first 10 years in the anniversary book, archivist Colin Brake. All right. Julia, have a seat. Colin, welcome. Julia, they say you can remember where you were the day Kennedy was shot. Can you remember where you were when the first episode was screened?
Yes, in the wine bar where we wrote in half an hour the format for Jonathan Powell. We went back to the wine bar and we didn't watch it. We just drank wine and shivered.
You wrote the format in half an hour?
There was the selling document, yes.
How did you decide what to do and
I think we've been thinking about it for a long time.
Yeah.
And we kept on saying no to all the ideas they gave us. And in the end, somebody said, well, if you won't do anyone else's idea, what do you want to do? And it'd been at the back of our minds for some time. And we were told that Jonathan had to see the controller in half an hour or something, or he wanted to see us in half an hour. Would we please do something about it?
Concentrates the mind wonderfully.
So we rushed into the wine bar, ordered the largest bottle of wine we could, and got it down.
Now, how did you get involved, Colin?
I came along about a year and a half later. Julia and Tony Holland, the other co-creator, had got it up and running by then, but they needed to create a database about who had done what when. And I'd been working for BBC Enterprises as a clerk, and I got pushed along to have a chat with Julia, and Julia said, oh, you've got some library experience, and I had. So I knew all about card indexes and the like. So they said, come along, and stuck me in a room for 3 months and 180 tapes. And I just made notes until my eyesight went.
Watch this, and then you'll be the expert.
I'm afraid so.
Now, you're also a scriptwriter now.
I've become a scriptwriter.
Yeah.
I've been so lucky. Julia gave me a chance to go and work on the programme, and later I became a trainee script editor on the programme, and that way I got to learn about scripts, and eventually I got to write.
Now, how much sort of carte blanche do they give you to write a script? Do they give you a storyline that you have to follow?
It's sort of give and take. You're given a starting point and an end point, and there's a bigger picture that we all know we're painting part of. But how you get there in your half an hour or your 2 episodes is pretty much down to you and approving from the producers. So it's a give and take.
Do you have a feeling, Julia, that in a way you've created legends? I mean, you gave us Dirty Den and Angie. I mean, these have become sort of almost cult heroes now, really. Do you think back, gosh, I remember the moment I thought about him?
I think to me they're just members of my family. I feel I know them better than most of my relatives. And they've just become part of oneself.
What was it like watching a character grow? You know, an actor would come. You know, Leslie Grantham would come on day one. This is an unknown actor called Leslie Grantham. He's come to play a part called, you know, Dennis Thingy. I forget his surname because I never know him as Dirty Den. But then for you, watching him develop...
Oh, it's exciting, it's wonderful. And, you know, you cast people and my goodness, I was lucky with my casting, and I cast some very, very talented actors, and they all put their heart and soul into it, and it was fantastic. But then you watch the relationships growing, and you saw them growing as people and growing in confidence, and it was fantastic, and I'm terribly proud of them all.
For you, when you look back on this kind of... do you have favourite moments? Are there moments in it for you which are the best?
Lots and lots. Well, one of my favourite moments, I was saying to Julia just earlier, was that two-hander with Dot and Ethel, which is written by a wonderful writer called Charlie Humphreys, who passed away a few years ago, who was a wonderful writer, really felt his way into those characters and gave us a wonderful half an hour. I'm also very fond of the whole business of doing special episodes with just two characters, and that really started with Julia and Tony in the first year when we found out who was the father of Michelle's baby, and the second half of an episode was entirely given over to just Den and Michelle on the canal bank, and that was the start of those sort of specials.
A brave decision, that, Julie, and a completely novel decision in terms of, well, I call it soap opera because it's sort of grouped with all the soaps. I think you really rather call it a drama series than...
Well, I don't think we saw it as a soap opera. I mean, I'm not denigrating it. They're wonderful. But the whole time, I think we wanted to think, what can we do? How can we stretch it? How can we give the audience something new? Because I love the audience, and I think there's no point in making programmes for other programme makers. Make it for the audience.
Yeah.
And like I wanted to do Election Day on Election Day because nobody had ever done it before. And the idea of stretching people and able to explore characters in depth like Ethel and Dot. And if you'd said to anyone, oh, let's write a two-hander for two old ladies, they would have said, that's mad, you can't do it. But you can, and we did, and that's what was so exciting.
It's very exciting when you go on the set, as I did last week. All right, I've been there before, and as I say, it's the coldest place on earth. My God, it's drafty. Yeah. But there, you are actually in it, and it does look real, except when you tap it and it sort of rattles a bit, because it's not bricks, it's kind of fiberglass.
Well, I went back for a photo call last week, and I haven't been there for about 6 years, I suppose. And I just walked in there, and I felt I'd come home. Even I couldn't really believe that they weren't real houses, that Albert Square hadn't always been there.
Why do you... I've asked several people, but from your point of view, as the co-creator of it, why do you think it worked? Why did it take off? What is the secret of EastEnders' success?
Passion and caring.
On whose part?
Everybody's. From myself to Tony, to all the actors, to the gardener that planted the weeds so that the square wouldn't look new, to the lighting people, everybody. We all put such passion, such love. I think it partly came out of the fact that Tony and I are both Londoners, and we desperately wanted to make a programme about London. And it was exciting and...
And it keeps going.
And it keeps
going.
going.
People riveted. Well, the book is called EastEnders, is it 10 Years of EastEnders?
First 10 years, a celebration, which is important, because that's what it's about, celebrating the 10 years.
And do you get people coming along and saying to you, right, come on, what's going to happen to so-and-so?
All the time, and the stock answer is, it's worth more than my life to tell you a single thing.
I knew we wouldn't get anywhere much. Never mind, it's been great to talk to you. Thank you. Julia Smith and Colin Bragg. Now, there are two characters in particular who've been familiar faces from the very beginning. They've had their share of ups and downs over the decade, but they've somehow managed to stick together.
What would you prefer, a boy or a girl? Come on, a boy or a girl?
I don't mind.
No, me neither. They can tell with these new tests now, you know. But I shall say I don't want to know. Well, it don't seem natural to know beforehand, do it? Promise me you really are pleased. Are you mad?
or something? You tell me you've been seen so tired and you expect me to relax.
We can sort this out. Now, come.
No, go away from me,
Oh,
Arthur.
now, come on,
Go away
Pauline.
from me.
Will you please...
I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. I hate you.
Oh,
I hate you.
Stop it, Pauline, stop
Get away from me.
Stop it, Pauline, stop it. Pauline, this ain't going to solve anything.
No, but screwing some frustrated old prostitute didn't it? That was all right.
But it didn't mean anything to me. It meant nothing to me.
I told you, stay away.
But Pauline, please, that's...
Stay away from me, Arthur.
Just another quiet day in the Fowler household. Please welcome two EastEnders stalwarts, Pauline and Arthur, Wendy Richard and Bill Treacher.
Yeah.
The bump's gone down. Oh, crunchy.
I really felt that, didn't you?
I felt I heard it as well. I mean, I detect a slight bit of worry on your part when you had it
Yes,
in there.
because
Wendy.
I'm always terrified, if there's any scenes where you might have to smack somebody's face or something. But that was before I threw the television set, that bit,
Yeah,
wasn't
that
it?
was it.
When I threw the television, it was an empty shell of a TV, but I pulled a muscle in my back because I really had to go for it, And my friend said, when they watched it, we thought of your aching back afterwards because I wanted to sit down and put a hot water bottle on it.
It was a brave thing for you to do, Wendy. You'd been very glamorous in roles up to then. Miss Brahms, being the main one, the dolly bird of Are You Being Served. Was it a difficult decision to go into EastEnders and play really rather a dowdy character?
I wasn't worried about playing a dowdy character because I've known Julia since the 60s because there used to be a soap that was done up here called The Newcomers, and that's when I first met Julia. She used to direct. But in those days, I was the teenage daughter and some other poor woman had to worry about us. But, no, so Julia asked me to go and see her and she outlined the story and I thought it just sounded absolutely fantastic.
Now, Bill, you were in from day one as well, and the part, I gather, was written for you.
Yeah, I refused at first. I said, no, I won't do this. And Julia said, why not? I said, well, it's going to be 52 weeks a year. I would never see my family. So I said, in any case, am I right for it? She said, well, it was written with you in mind. I said, She said, go away and think about it. So I did for 3 days. Will I not? Talking to the family about it. And I thought, this is ridiculous. I'll have a chance to save some money. Yes, I rang my then agent and said, ring Julia and tell her I'd be delighted to do it. She said, I already have.
You're in there. Your finest hour for me, and I know I keep saying to you every time we meet, because we meet now and again, I'll say, oh, you dig it. When you had the breakdown,
Yeah.
I tell you, to watch you, it's awful flattering actors, because, you're a good actor, but
Yeah.
goodness me, does he like it? But to watch you fall apart, it broke me up. It was the most terrible...
Yeah, I've watched it and I cried too.
Yeah.
And I did it.
But hellish demanding, and yet, isn't it one of those things that all actors relish? Yes, let me have a nervous breakdown.
I don't know. I never thought about it. There's no time to think about things, is
Really
there?
upset you, that though.
Oh, it really did. Yeah, it got me in the end. I know I was sitting at home one Christmas time when we'd done that, and I'd had a couple of drinks, and I suppose that relaxed me, and I just started to weep.
Oh, God.
And my wife rushed over to me and said, what's the matter with you? I said, it's all right, it's Arthur. I've brought him home. But now, believe you me, I leave him at the gates.
When you come out. Wendy, you were perhaps the only famous member of the cast when it started, or a familiar face from regular weekly TV with Are You Being Served? And yet this plunged all of you into this now, 3 times a week, hugely familiar faces. Were you prepared for the kind of fame it was going to drop on your doorstep?
Well, being that recognised, when one's walking about, has its pros and its cons. On the whole, most people are very pleasant, but you sometimes get someone that they think they're being funny or something. In actual fact, they're just being rude. But I think most people especially are pleased to see us. I remember one day Bill and I were walking down the high street together and there was 2 gentlemen crossing the road and they said, oh, look, there they are, there's Bill and Wendy. And, it was just nice.
Yeah, it's very nice, but it can be intrusive when you want to be on your own with your family or something like that.
It's also hugely demanding. The schedule you work there is incredible.
It's a shocker, yeah. It really is. We never stop, do we?
No.
It's 6
And it
days
doesn't
a week.
stop when you get home because then you have to learn your
Learn lines.
lines.
For next time.
Yes.
Do you watch any other soap?
I hate to say this, I actually don't watch television. I'm a radio person. I'm addicted to the Archers. I'm a card-carrying member of their fan club, and that's all I'm interested in is the Archers.
Would you Christmas Eve it? Do you? Are you?
No, I don't. I watch Coronation Street occasionally, see the opposition, you know, and Neighbours occasionally, but no, I don't watch much television.
Now you, Bill, the great news at the moment is that you are coming out as well. So what made you, after 10 years, say, this is it, I've had enough?
Well, I think it's a 10-year itch, really, isn't it? You know, I mean, I've done nothing but played Arthur for 10 years solid. You know, I haven't done pantomimes and things like that. But, and now I want a break. I want to rest from it, you know.
Will you tell us how you're going to go?
Certainly not.
Oh, God, Bill,
I can't
give us
be
a break.
No, I can't.
But do you think the door might be left open for you to come back?
I hope so. One never knows. I mean, I might need the money.
What will she do?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Bill and we've worked so well together over the past years. Pauline, I don't think, could ever have another man in her life. It's
We'll wait and
Arthur or
see.
nothing.
Absolutely.
No Danny Torres coming back. Great to have you both on. Wendy Richard and Bill Treacher. Now, don't go from me. You've got to stay with us. Stay with us before you go, because there are a few other people who want to wish EastEnders a very happy birthday. You'll be surprised how many people have been watching.
Happy birthday, EastEnders, from everyone at Brookside.
From all of us,
At home and away.
we'd like to send a big,
Huge.
awesome congratulations to everyone at EastEnders.
For surviving and prospering through 10 years of television.
Happy birthday, EastEnders. Yes, our solidest.
From all of us here at Neighbours, congratulations, EastEnders, on your 10th anniversary. And let's hope there'll be another 10 years.
Hey, you still play, don't you?
What?
Football, love. Some London pubs offering us a game.
London pubs, is it?
Here, give us the letter, Jack.
No,
Oh, it's all written in flipping Cockney, is this? Here, Mike, you better have a deco.
the Queen Vic, Albert Square. Hey, I know it. I reckon I know how the football will end up as well. 34-10. No, I'm only joking. A happy 10th birthday and many more of them. Happy birthday.
Oh, one's gone. Whoa! All it leaves me to do is to say happy birthday from Pebble Mill 2. Woo! Get some of that in there. Gloria will be here celebrating Valentine's Day tomorrow. Don't forget Unforgettable EastEnders on Friday. I'll onto that for a minute, Bill. That's on Friday evening. From next Monday morning at 10:05, the first 25 episodes of EastEnders at the rate of one a day. Aren't you pleased? I'll see you again on Thursday. Let's hand down the champers. Happy birthday, EastEnders. The cake's very soft. I'll cut into that in a minute. Goodbye!
I'm sitting in for Mo Dutta this morning because he's got the flu, so I hope he's better soon. Now, wasn't it fascinating to relive some of the old EastEnder memories? It's becoming quite an institution, so here's to the next 10 years.